In degrees of schadenfreude, the Houston Texans' performance against Kansas City is like a 10+++. The only thing better would have been if the Texans had been leading going into the final minute of the game and then lost a heartbreaker. Welcome in the beginning of the Ben Maller Show. We are in the air everywhere. The vast Fox Sports Radio Network emanating live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Just visit geico.com. Get a free rate quote. So I assume you checked it out, but with 10 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the first half of the early game on Divisional Weekend Sunday, the Houston Texans had built up what seemed to be an unbeatable point total. They had a 24-0 lead. Insurmountable 24-0 lead. However, they had to play the rest of the game, and that was the problem. And it was a hot mess, and it happened right away. It was a volcano erupting for Kansas City. And if you didn't watch the game and you maybe heard about it, we'll talk you through it here. The Chiefs storm all the way back in the second quarter. They end up becoming the first team in postseason history to win a game by 20 points where they trailed by 20 points during the same game. The same game! They trailed by 24 points. They won by 20. What a national embarrassment. What a laughingstock the Houston Texans are. This is a tough time for Houston sports. You got the Astros. Bang, bang! You got that going on. You got the Rockets, who have to get by the Clippers in the Western Conference there. Good luck on that. Patrick Mahomes, 321 yards passing, averaged over 9 yards per attempt, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. He did have a fumble, but it was recovered, and a passer rating of 134.6 on the day. So Kansas City is now one game away from getting back to the Super Bowl, and Andy Reid could get back to the Super Bowl, lost with Philadelphia back in the day. That was the Donovan McNabb puke game. So if the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl, and as long as Mahomes doesn't vomit in the huddle, that would be an improvement over Andy Reid's last trip to the Super Bowl. So they will play host to the Tennessee Titans as a favorite, a home favorite by over a touchdown, the Chiefs, to get to South Florida. So congratulations to Kansas City, the come-from-behind victory. But we know on television, I was talking to a friend of mine about this, TV loves winners. They like winners, right? Who do they interview right after the game? I was talking to my friend, the old newspaper guy. They back when newspapers mattered. And you go interview the winning coach. No, the better stories in the losing locker room. So,
I want winners.
No, I want losers. Give me losers. Give me teams that choke. Give me the teams that are pathetic, despicable Mama Lukes. Those are the teams I want to talk about on the radio. Those are my teams. I relate to them. I'm a loser. I relate to losers. So the Houston Texans. All right, now the obvious question, and we will address it right now, should the Houston Texans fire Bill O'Brien after that performance in the postseason? 1,000%, period, hard stop. Now, to expand on that, you've got ride a bicycle, lightweight, and treading water. And we will combine all these things together. Now, Bill O'Brien should have already been let go several years ago. He's been hanging on by a thread. Now, he's got some more time because the owner died in Houston, but he should be Dunskies. He should have been fired when they got back to Houston. Now, it's the middle of the night, so maybe he was fired, but this is a fireable offense. Not only should he lose his job, Bill O'Brien, but Bill Cowher should also be fired at CBS. I don't care if he's in the Hall of Fame or not. Did you see this? This is one of the great broadcasting atrocities. Somewhere Howard Cosell is turning over in his grave spinning, the old sportscaster from back in the day, because moments after the game on national television, Bill Cowher, right, was regaling praise on Bill O'Brien. I thought maybe, wait a minute, I was like, maybe I'm in the Twilight Zone. This can't be going on. He said he wanted to give O'Brien credit because he had the Texans ready to play, is the quote from Bill Cowher on CBS. Boo frickin' who? What kind of parallel dimension does this wackadoodle live in? I would retract his Hall of Fame nomination on this alone. Did Cowher even watch the game? Maybe he was in the back watching soap operas at CBS and he didn't even watch the game. Or maybe he stopped watching when it was 24-0. But praise to Bill O'Brien for having the team ready to play? Cowher lost so many of those AFC Championship games back in the day. He's like, I know how it feels. This wasn't even the AFC Championship game. He must have expected Houston players to get schnockered and not show up to the stadium. So the fact that they showed up to the stadium was impressive. Unbelievable. It's ridiculous. Bill Cowher, fire his ass. It's a twofer with O'Brien. Does he think? He must think, Bill Cowher, the people watching these games are slobbering morons, and maybe they are. But anybody that paid attention is like, whoa, you praising a coach. I mean, no, coaches are supposed to all unite together, but come on. That is not a moment for praise. That is a moment to tear a new one, to spit roast Bill O'Brien is what should have happened. I mean, what is that? Back to O'Brien. So Bill O'Brien was unable to make, obviously, the necessary in-game adjustments, that's the understatement, to hold on to a 24-0 lead. He made a couple of critical decisions that add on to the argument to fire him. They were jaw-dropping. Up 24-7, he decided it was the right time to get cute and go for a fake punt. It was a 4th down and 4 at the Texans' own 31-yard line. So they're in their own territory. So they decided to go for a fake little trickeration there, which would have been fine if it hadn't failed miserably. And that was right after he didn't go for it on a 4th and 1, by the way, in the Chiefs' own red zone. So instead of going for it 4th and 1 in the Chiefs' red zone, he said, I'm going to go for it on my own 31-yard line. And we know how that worked. So they kicked a field goal on their own end, then they turned the ball over on downs, and 3 plays later, Patrick Mahomes gets another touchdown, and it's 24-14. So Bill O'Brien, working his magic, he needed to also, later in the game, he needed to take a timeout to think about punting. He was gonna punt, and he had to think about it, and he decided not to punt, down 17 points in the 4th quarter of the playoff game, and O'Brien's like, maybe we should punt the ball away here. Got to work on our special teams for next season. That almost completes the bingo card of failure for Bill O'Brien. Now, O'Brien, you know what he reminded me of? He was like a father teaching a child how to ride a bicycle, right? You run alongside your kid, you study the little bike there, and you give a push right in the back. Look at the kid go. But in this case, he was pushing along Kansas City and the Chiefs' offense and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and all those guys to come back. He was giving them a push. Unreal. I don't know. The town of Houston, the Texans fans ought to the revolt. Fire this guy. Don't buy tickets. Don't buy merchandise till this a-hole is gone. Bill O'Brien. Now, part B of this. Does the fact that Bill O'Brien's the village idiot, does that give Deshaun Watson a pardon from any culpability in this loss? And the answer, of course, is absolutely not. Anybody that's educated on football that watched this game knows that Deshaun Watson was a big part of the problem in this game because this was supposed to be a red-letter day for Deshaun Watson. Right? Quarterback defenders think that this is all on Bill O'Brien and he gets no blame. He give him a pardon. Give Deshaun Watson a pardon. Not on this show. No pardon. None for Deshaun Watson. Now, the constant lament against Deshaun Watson is that, and we've talked about it here, he's bipolar. He can be the greatest quarterback in the world for a game, and then he'll come back and suck against Jacksonville and get outplayed by Gardner Minshew. The other argument in this game is he doesn't play defense. Now, theoretically, that's true. Deshaun Watson does not play defense. However, Watson was also a no-show after the first quarter Now, you will not hear this kind of commentary on any of the mainstream football media. They are all lapdogs. You only hear that here on our show. Deshaun Watson is a headliner and a protected interest among the football media elite. And he was great at Clemson. He's amazing. He gives back to charity. Meanwhile, these kind of things keep popping up. I cannot take Deshaun Watson seriously with these kind of performances because they happen all the time. This was not a one-off situation. He is the ringleader of the Texans offense. And while he certainly played like a heavyweight, I'll give him this, for 15 minutes, right? You can also get your car insurance from Geico in 15 minutes. He was a lightweight for 45 minutes. Watson was not only a quarterback, he was mostly useless after the first quarter. Now, what's my evidence? Go to the stats. First quarter, 7 of 8, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, passer rating of 145. 145.3 passer rating for Deshaun Watson in the first quarter. How about the rest of the game? How'd he do? Don't ask. Watson had 28 complete passes, averaged 7.1 yards per attempt, no touchdown passes. He had no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times, had a passer rating the second, third, and fourth quarter combined of 77.1. 77.1 was the man's passer rating after the first quarter. And we're supposed to say he doesn't have no culpability? Deshaun Watson? Really? I'd like to have you as a teacher. I got a lot of numbers. I can explain it to you differently. Deshaun Watson was a shooting star for 15 minutes, and then he took a ride on the vomit comet the rest of the game. How about that? All right? You got it? You understand? All right, last word. So the Texans franchise, it really depends on the fan base. I believe if the fan base rises up and there's anarchy and chaos among the Texans fans, there will be a change. Do I expect that to happen? No. I don't expect that to happen. You would have gotten rid of this guy a couple years ago. The Texans franchise is going to continue to tread water and spin their wheels in the kiddie pool of the NFL. All right? They have enough talent to make the playoffs, but not enough talent, or enough moxie, I should say, to go on this extended run. Like the Tennessee Titans have moxie. There's something about it that Texans don't have. They were lucky to beat Buffalo. If Josh Allen didn't puke all over the field, they don't win that game. Watson was a bum for 3 quarters in that game. What do we have to? Deshaun Watson's good for 1 out of 4 quarters, apparently, in these playoff games. 1 out of 4. That's it. Right? So I would expect this cycle to continue next season in Houston. Rinse, wash, and repeat. Right? Bill O'Brien, he should be whacked, but it's unlikely. The Texans put all of their chips. They pushed them all in the middle of the table to make the big trades. Now, I have no problem trading future draft capital. I don't. But you've got to get dividends. Those trades have to pay dividends, and I don't see a lot of that from the Houston Texans. Laramie Tunsil, coming over from the Miami Dolphins, was supposed to solve Deshaun Watson from getting sacked every other play. And Deshaun's ability to read defense, I wonder what he's doing. Because they've improved the offensive line, but Laramie Tunsil, not exactly the second coming of Orlando Pace and Anthony Munoz with the Dolphins this year, and not too many pancake blocks. A lot of pancakes consumed, but not too many pancake blocks from the Texans' offensive line. You know what I'm saying? All right. Meanwhile, let's hear from Bill O'Brien quickly. We'll hear a couple of these. Bill O'Brien, the fake punt we talked about there, that was the big turning point game that really pushed Kansas City to get right back in the game there. And here's O'Brien saying why he did the dumb thing that he did.
We felt like, we weren't going to be able to punt it too many times today. We felt like that we had to try to manufacture some points, manufacture some yards, and just didn't work out. It's just something we decided to do, but the play didn't work. These games were always, games with momentum swings. We had momentum at that point. Just felt like, we were going to try to make a play there, and it just didn't work.
Why'd you give up the momentum? If you had the momentum, why would you give up the momentum? You should hold on to the momentum. Good coaches hold on to the momentum. Why would you give up the momentum? Why did Kansas City not have the momentum at the start of the game? Explain the momentum. If both teams want the momentum, how did Kansas City not have the momentum? And why did Houston have the momentum? Oh, that's right. It's a made-up, artificial, bull-pucky nonsense that the media came up with, and these dum-dums that play sports repeat it all the time. Oh, momentum! They had all the momentum. We had the moment. Yeah, well, you're up 24-0. Explain momentum to me. I'm not that dumb. Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old, okay? So you're up 24-0. You have all the momentum. The other team comes back. Well, how's that possible? If one team has all the momentum, how is that effing possible?